Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Sharing Sauce with Sham. And today we have the lovely Jaleesa here with us to share her journey, her entrepreneurial journey, and how she got to where she is today. And as you guys know, the goal of this show is to really help people who are on the edge thinking about entrepreneurship, and show that we're all just regular people like everyone else, and we just want to showcase our story in the hopes that it can encourage you and push you to follow and chase your dreams as well. So, welcome, Jaleesa.
Yes, thank you, Shamika. It's a pleasure to be sitting here with you and conversing about this entrepreneurial journey that I am embarking on, and hopefully, I can share a few gems to your audience.
Yes. So, to get us started, if you could just let us know, I let them know your name. Well, you could say it again, like your name, where you're from, and just how you got started, doing what you're doing right now.
Awesome. So, I am Jaleesa, the team leadership coach. I am currently based in Central Texas, back in my hometown, Austin, Texas, which is wild. If anyone that is close to me knows that I was just like, no, I'm never moving back. Da, da, da. And now I'm here like everyone should come. So it's kind of funny that I'm really getting to embark on this entrepreneurial journey where I grew up and began. So, how I
Yes.
got started is that I was always interested in helping others and began my career in hospitality before heading off to college. And that is when I knew helping others meant that I was going to have to do something within the team's space. And
Okay.
so going forward, I just knew that this was my thing. We're going to figure it out. So went into undergrad. I got to participate in a leadership and development course as well as an HR course. And I was like, okay, we're getting a little bit closer. And then after graduating college, I had the honor to be able to make my stake in the human resources space, beginning that journey in the District of Columbia, which
Okay.
was so cool. I have to say the full name sometimes. But it was such a unique journey for me because I began the human resources role in the corporate space. And then
Mhm.
it got to a point where it kind of capped, and I knew that I loved the strategic portion of it. I really love the internal processes and figuring out how to bridge the gap between the leadership, management, and the team. And
Mhm.
that is when I turned my sights towards the entrepreneurial space. And so, in that space, I actually help creative startups and service providers with improving their signature services and or their programs by optimizing their internal processes so
Okay.
that we can build out that team. And that is what I've been
Yes.
doing so far.
Okay, look at you. So going back a little bit, when you're talking about you capped out, did you cap out in income or did you just feel like you could no longer grow in corporate, like it was holding you back somehow?
Yeah, I would definitely say I capped out in the skills growth area. So it always got to a point where I would be able to strategize, but now you're doing it on your own time and hoping that everyone on your team is actually listening and wanting to implement it. And it just became more of a pulling teeth type of thing. And I
Mm,
noticed that in the entrepreneurial space that this is really what is needed. A lot of amazing businesses are getting to the point that they are starting to sustain their income, but they're not really sure where they want to go next or how they're going to grow their businesses itself. So I said, you know what? I've already been able to do what was necessary within the corporate space, and I am willing to be the one that will go into the entrepreneurial space and help those businesses become corporations.
okay, I love it. Okay, Black Girl Magic.
I'm trying.
Um, so what are some of the most common challenges you see as a team's expert that most businesses are struggling with when you come on to offer your services?
Yes. So I am noticing that even if you may not be a solo entrepreneur, that they are still sticking to that mindset as they are building those teams. And
Yes.
so a common challenge is that, hey, now I have a team, but I don't even know how to manage them. And yay, we have clients and we are having these recurring sales, but where is my time going? And
Mm-hmm.
so I have a lot of amazing clients that kind of just get to that point where they are trying to figure out what's next, but they honestly don't have enough time to really figure that out. So it is a common challenge that I'm seeing, but thankfully I have been coming across lovely people that are just as strategic and analytical as I am. So it's kind of fun being able to go through all of the resources that they've kind of accumulated over time, and then being able to use all of those lovely documents that we all have placed into those little shadows of our computers, because now everything's digital,
Yes.
that we are able to just really dive in and improve those processes, because you've already got the signature service going. Now we want to make sure everything internally is taken care of to build that foundation as they continue to pursue what it is that they wish to see their business become.
Yeah. So when you're talking about those documents that people have, are you like referring to like standard operating procedures and things like that so that they're able to bring team members on?
Yeah, so I wish it would always be that instance, but it's kind of like a puzzle piece to their standard operating procedures. So it may
Mhm.
have a few steps here, or the canned email templates here, and me being able to kind of figure out the flow of all of that with my amazing clients in those creative startups to really ensure that, hey, this is how you do it step by step. I know that I'm the one that's kind of overseeing everything for you as you are actually in the day-to-day operations, and
Mhm.
really being able to find ways to put them all together to create those SOPs is the
Yeah.
goal. Yeah.
Okay. I just
Yes.
know that's like a tough one, right? I am a virtual assistant, as you know, and coming into people's businesses, a lot of times it's like the virtual assistant is starting from scratch, and so you want to make sure you're putting something in place so that eventually, because you know they need a team, right? They might hire you, but they need a team and they have nothing in place. And so, like, you're everybody. You're the VA, you're the marketer, you're the copywriter, you know, you're like everything. So, yeah, I just wanted to really reinforce like how important it is if you're a business owner out there that you have some of that documentation at least started before Jaleesa comes in and helps you really improve on your team so you can grow it and, scale your business. So,
Yeah, and I agree. I agree. And that is why I typically like to bring up the similarities between an online business manager and a virtual assistant. I always say we are the dream team, but you never want to bring on a virtual assistant who can't maintain or sustain any process that's not in place. And
right.
so that is something that I am really helping anyone that comes into contact with me master, because I know I may not be your virtual assistant, but when I leave, I want your virtual assistant to say, hey, who was that set this up? Because we need more of her.
Yeah, exactly. And in this digital space that we're in, right? I'm seeing a lot of people who are putting documentation in videos, right? They're doing their onboarding and different things like that in videos, and they don't so much have any paperwork. But as an expert, do you think it's still important to have that paperwork, or do you think just videos are fine now?
Yes, I am a fan of a paper trail. Okay. I will say it any day, all day, because I am a fan. So here's the thing, I love video references. They're necessary and they are a great tool to utilize internally. But
Mhm.
when it comes to possibly needing to do any project based hiring and letting people know the processes, I don't think anyone really wants to try and rush through a video, especially if you're working with experts. So,
Mhm.
yes, video references, awesome, but I'm really here for a paper trail and being able to have that written down procedure. So, if I ever need to share it with anyone, I can do so, and I can answer any questions whenever they reach out to me to have those questions. Makes it
Yeah.
much easier to be able to troubleshoot when you have everything written down rather than video, because now we're talking about timestamps and when you said this, but then maybe something has been refreshed, but it's not refreshing the video, all the things.
Yes, yes. I'm a stickler for an old school document myself. So that's why I was like, I want to get her opinion because a lot of people are like, oh, you should have your onboarding as videos. And I'm like, I'm trying to incorporate like a little bit of that. But it's like, I still like to just sit down and write out a whole document and, have somebody review it and see where I need to fill it in. I feel like in a video, you can't really do that. Like if I miss something, it's just gone. Like, I got to do a whole new video. So I just wanted to touch base on that and see your thoughts for an old school lady like myself.
Hey, I'm here for it. Okay. It may be digital paper, but even when I note take, oh my goodness, it's wild to me. Every single time I look at it, I have a notebook, I have a digital scheduler, I have a digital calendar, I have a daily planner, I have all the things. So I'm writing and I'm also doing digital. So I completely understand.
Yeah. um, so in working with your teams, do you also work with them to help them resolve like some conflicts that arise with their teams?
Yes, I sure do. But currently, I am focusing on the big kahuna is optimizing the internal processes. So for reoccurring clients, yes, I am helping them once they're further down the line with any any conflict resolution. But at this point in time, my whole focus within this phase of my business is optimizing as many internal processes as I can for those signature services. So once those individuals start working their way back around, then we are ready to build out that team and already found some ways to already mitigate those conflicts that may arise, that hopefully wouldn't arise anymore, but they may arise. Yes.
Okay, so now we know Miss Jaleesa is not offering that anymore. So you guys missed the boat on that. But you can still get your optimization and everything put together, all your strategies. She is the lady for you. But in saying that, what are some of the skills you feel are important for a leader to have when they are creating a team?
Yes. So one of those important skills is the willingness to learn, but in a relentless type of way. So every month you are constantly intaking articles or finding ways to develop your mindset, even personally or professionally, as well as the foundations of self-love. And so I say this because when you are working with anyone or in relation to anyone, the way that you treat yourself shows up in the way that you treat others. And so it may kind of sound like, oh, woo woo, cute, cute, but it's a big, big skill. We talk about mindset, we talk about perspective shifts, but at the end of the day, it is up to ourselves to begin the process of loving ourselves and going through that self-discovery and figuring out what your boundaries are. Okay, now that you know what your personal boundaries are, how do they show up within your business? And are you even, what I would say, are you even upholding those standards for yourself, even when it comes to your business?
That's the one right there. I think just even for myself, I've been doing a lot of reflecting and saying, because I have some subcontractors that work with me, and I'm like, how can I expect this from them, right? I want them to show up in a certain way, but I didn't feel like I was showing up as my best version of myself. And so I think that's really important to really reflect on yourself and what you have going on in order for it to trickle down to your team. Right. So I think that that's a good point that you brought up right there. And it's so relevant and true for so many entrepreneurs out here.
Yes. And it is so relevant and true, but it's not really one of those things that we're thinking about when it comes to running the business. We are trying to ensure that we are building a model that we like in real time, while trying to find people that we can bring on to support us. But then we get into the murkiness of that and the classifications of the workers and things like that. So it's my personal love, and I always ensure that it is a part of any offer that I'm going to give, because at the end of the day, you are building something. What is it? We're not working to live, or no, we're not living to work. We are working to live. And so I want to make sure that it is always top of mind at the end of the day.
Yes. I love that so much. Um, how do you address, I would say, like, even though I might hire you in my business, right, I still might have some resistance once you come in and you start making those changes. Like, how do you deal with overcoming those resistance from clients?
Yes. So one of my favorite ways overcoming resistance is doing a overview of the present and the future, and then filling out the gaps within that. So we are going to do a high level overview of what your present is currently looking at. And then we're going to look at what is the end result that you're interested in, and then creating a space for the gap and putting in detail ways that it will allow you to feel that you are making progress, but also allowing them to feel comfortable. I'm really big on transparency and communication. And so I ensure that they are always having space for feedback. And even if they would like feedback, providing that as well. And that is typically how I'm able to mitigate that resistance. But it's going to happen nonetheless, especially if someone's been working as their one-man team the entire time, and now they want to bring you on, but they're not too sure how you're going to help them rather than adding more to their plate. So my main way is always looking at where we're at right now, where we want to go, and what are ways that you can kind of keep an eye out on these milestones to make you feel comfortable as we work together.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. And so as you're working with clients, what would you say is like a standard turnaround time, so to speak? Like, how long does it take for you to work with the team and make that shift usually?
Yes. So if you are wanting to fully do a strategic plan and then implement, it is going to always take a minimum of 6 months. But typically, if you are just wanting to have your workflow written out or standardized, then that can take about a 3-month time frame. But it's really based on how long it takes to get all the information over to someone like myself as an OBM, and how much information you've provided to allow me to fill all the gaps. And then and then kind of doing that work back and forth. But I'm glad that you said timeline, because that is one big thing. As entrepreneurs, we do not have the beauty of huge corporations behind us to be able to pay for all the tools and the techs and all the things and the 20 people to make sure that everything stays on the timeline. So that is one thing that I do appreciate that you said, because we live the life of timelines, and especially because we don't have many people that we can rely on yet. Right. I always make sure that I say, okay, this is the timeline, but it can take longer, it can be shorter, but that's about the time frame it typically takes for those two services.
Okay. I like it. I'm asking you all these questions because I'm like, oh man, I need somebody to help me. So I'm trying to get as much as I can. I'm like, how long is the process? You know what I'm saying? Because we all need this help.
I agree. And I love virtual assistants and the role that they play. I just feel bad when you're like, yay, I'm willing to help you, kind of go behind the closed door and you're like, wait, where is it?
Yes, because it's so crazy. Like most virtual assistants, you'll see they'll naturally transition because the entrepreneurs don't bring in someone like you. And so they're naturally progressing to be like a OBM, because you're going out, you're looking for new people to add to the team. You're onboarding people, you're managing the team now, and you're like, hold on, I'm not a virtual assistant anymore. Like, this is a whole nother level. I think I wanted to really point that out. So virtual assistants, if they're watching, know that you have a trajectory. If you start with solopreneurs, you could be someone like Jaleesa in a couple years once you get it down, because that's your natural progression. And of course, that comes at a higher standard of pay as well, when you're managing teams and different things like that. So,
Yes, this is true.
now, did you ever work in the VA space at all, or you came right in as an OBM?
So I came right in as an OBM just because of my HR experience was basically at HR generalist level, almost specialist, but I gained all the skills to be able to run a membership community and being able to do government contracting and working in franchising. So a sprinkle of everything that really is big and becoming more and more of a trend within the entrepreneurial space.
Yes.
So I knew that this was the perfect time to really jump with all legs and hands in and really be able to help people while the gaps are widening, but the money is still vast.
Yes. Yes, because we're here to work smarter and not harder, right?
Exactly, exactly.
um, and so when you come into these organizations, what are some of the, let me see. So when you're working with a leader, or an entrepreneur, in order for you to help them balance the organization, right? Um, the needs of their team, like, how do you make the needs of the team and the organization kind of mesh together, right? Because the needs of the team and the organization might be kind of flowing separately, but how can you balance those needs when you come in, so everybody gets what they want, the entrepreneur and the team that they're building?
Great question. So the two things that I'm always going to do before we get started on anything, I'm going to ask if you have a strategic brand guide or any type of brand guide that states your company mission and vision. I would like
Mm-hmm.
to put out there that you do not have to be a six-figure earning business to know where you want your business to go. And
Mm-hmm.
so I come across it a lot that people have not actually sat down and really figured out where they wish their business to go. So that's always going to be my number one. And then, and then secondly, what are the reoccurring projects and services that you're putting out there that are becoming your signature services? So this
Mm-hmm.
is a way to ensure that before we even get started, we're working on the things that are bringing in your revenue and
Mm-hmm.
sustaining those things before we start bringing on new projects and new tasks. So that is always going to be my first two things. And then that is how I ensure that the goals of the business and of the team are aligning together, because we are always going to go back to that business guide and that strategic plan. Okay. You say you want to do what in the next 1 to 3 years? Oh, okay. And you say that these are your values and this is what you value. Do these correlate? I don't know. So let's figure out how these correlate and then kind of go on from there.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay. Um, and so in that, like, what are some of the trends you're seeing in leadership today, and how do you see those trends evolving in the future?
Oh, yes. So the trends that I am seeing today, I wrote some awesome things too. So if you don't mind, I'm
Oh,
like,
okay. I do not. And I'm sure the
post.
people don't mind.
Yes, I was like, I wrote down some things and I was like, I gotta give these to the people. I know that one of the main trends that it has not been spoken as a phrase, but diversity and inclusion. But I
Mm.
like to call that as an emphasis on emotional intelligence.
Mhm.
And so, really understanding how you are leading within an organization, how that is being translated to your teams is a really huge topic. It is a thing that has been within our human resources industry the entire time. So, welcome. So glad to see everyone here. Been waiting for this. And really
Yeah.
getting to see how that is showing up and becoming visible in the entrepreneurial space.
Mhm.
Because the further we go, again, we choose if we want to make this business into an organization or a corporation. And now we're starting to bring on people, and it starts bringing up different things that may,
Mhm.
bother us or may throw us off a bit, and we may not understand as to why. And so the emphasis on emotional intelligence is huge. And I think working with mindfulness coaches is awesome. I get to work alongside one, and we get to do our co-working days together. And I'm just so appreciative of the things that she's bringing to the space, because it is necessary. And I don't think that it's only for large corporations. I think it's for any business at any stage.
Yes. And
Yes.
that one really hit home because coming from corporate myself, like you're saying, they just introduced diversity, equity, and inclusion. Probably, I want to say around 2019, it became popular, right? And getting into this space and like branching out and becoming a coach, I would notice like our counterparts, they charge triple, almost quadruple what we charge to coach people. And like you said, that goes back to the mindset, because once I got a coach, I figured, I am worth that, because I was like, how are they coming into this space? They're new just like us, and they are charging, like all of those things that are from corporate, they like come into the entrepreneurial space as well. And that is, you hit the hammer on the head with that one. You hit the
Yes.
ham
I got another one.
or the nail on the head with that. You hit the nail on the head, because that one, it
Yes.
really bothered me. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's everywhere. Like it's everywhere, and we aren't included in their stuff. And so that's why we really have our own, and that's why you're seeing now a little bit more collaboration between our culture and other cultures. But like 2 years ago, when I first really got deep into my entrepreneurial journey, we weren't collaborating with people who didn't look like us. So that's definitely essential. So okay, I'm off my soapbox now.
Oh, no, you're good. I'm completely right there with you. And again, bridging the gaps. I believe that we all can. Don't get me, now I'm over here like, don't get me started. I'm like, we are meant to be a community. But yeah,
Okay.
I did have a second trend that I am noticing as well is build a team, hire a team, build a lean team, period.
What's a lean team?
Exactly. And so I just wanted to kind of shed a light on that as well, because it is becoming one of those things. If you do this in 60 days, you could build out a team to help you with X, Y, and Z. And I know that it sounds easier than what it truly is, but I want everyone to know that when you hire a team, it comes with a lot more regulations and guidelines than you would think. And so I just encourage anyone that if you are preparing to hire any type of person, project-based, long-term, a vendor, please, please, please look into the classification as to which you are wanting to bring them on as. I'm not going to get on my soapbox because I can really start up here, but I want to make sure that this is top of mind and a trend that everyone is looking into. If someone asks you to hire a team member, or, oh, you could just hire that out, please ask them this question. If I'm going to hire them, then how am I going to lead them? Because that will really show up when it comes again to those guidelines and those regulations. Because if you treat someone as an employee and they are an independent contractor, not the best business to go about. I just wanted to note
that. Because I fire clients because of it, let me tell you.
Giving employee work to a subject matter expert. That's why they are a subject matter expert. They are not here to learn on the job. They're here to help and support the project and go. And I'm done. That's my soapbox. That's my moment.
So those are some, those are key right there. And if you're new as a business owner, a virtual assistant, OBM, whatever, don't get caught up in that. Make sure you stand your ground and really let the person you're working with know, like, I don't mind helping you, but this is not what I'm here to help you with. Like, I'm here to help you with X, Y, Z, right? So, yes, I like that soapbox right there.
Yes.
um, let's see. So do you have some success stories you could share with the people of teams that you've been able to come in and help, and they've been able to be successful after working with you?
Yes. So I can share a story with a creative startup that I'm currently working with. We've kind of done a few projects at this point with each other, but I can kind of share what we've done so far.
Okay.
And so I am there to help enhance their internal documentation process. And so their objective is to establish a clear routine for adhering to their timelines that they like to uphold within their business,
Mhm.
but doing so by achieving results that they can continuously do over and over again. And so one of the first things that I did was look into the project management tool that they are utilizing, because they do have team members. And
Mhm.
so what I've been able to do is help them actually streamline their internal processes for their signature programs that they hold throughout the year. They have about 3 to 4 total. So
Okay.
we've gotten to work about 1 to 2 of them so far, and it has been awesome. I am a fan now of Monday myself, so definitely and enjoying that. But one of the awesome outcomes that I have been able to go through with this awesome organization is really see their cross collaboration enhance, and
Mm.
the communication issues that were arising more often than so are definitely minimizing. So I am happy to support that company and will continue to support them as long as they are willing to have me.
Yes, I love it. So what advice would you give to someone watching this podcast who's thinking about, they've been in the HR space for a while and they're like, I don't know if I have what it takes. Like, what would you say to them about starting their entrepreneur journey and managing some teams on different things?
Yes. So I always say start with the applied knowledge that you've gained thus far. And
Mhm.
so don't try and reinvent the wheel, as they like to say.
Mhm.
Definitely go in and say, these are the things that I enjoy. These are the things that I've already created. How can I transition this from the corporate space into the entrepreneurial space? That is always going to be the one thing that I share. And once again, the way you show up for your team, the way you show up in your business reflects the way you show up for yourself and in your personal life. So always keep that in mind and build on that awareness. Again, build on that self-discovery. Really do the things to figure out how to nurture yourself, and
Mhm.
you will find ways to nurture others.
Yes, y'all heard what she said now.
You know it.
Start
You
where you
know it.
are. That is key.
Yes.
That is definitely a gem right there, right? There's so many people who won't just start where they are. You'll progress, you'll learn, you'll grow. Start where you are. Don't be afraid. I love it. Great advice.
Mm, thank you.
And on your journey, what has been like the most rewarding for you so far on your entrepreneur journey?
Ooh, the most rewarding. Honestly, being able to connect with other business owners like yourself, I think it is almost like a cheat sheet. Like you get to connect with people and have conversations and figure out how they're navigating the entrepreneurial space, because it does not look like the same for anyone.
No.
It completely does not look the same. You could spend all the money on something and get nowhere, and you could spend
Hmm.
no money on something and get the furthest than the person that spent all the money. And I've been on both ends. So
Okay.
it is a time, but it's definitely worth it.
Yes, yes. So you guys, you hear it, it's definitely worth it, but nothing works but work. Don't come into the entrepreneurial space and think that you're just going to be this overnight success, because like you just said, Jaleesa, some people it happens overnight. I've watched people who started around the same time I did, and they went from, not saying that followers are equal to your success,
Mhm.
but watching them blow up. Like they've pivoted a couple times, and then I just watched them skyrocket and take off, like taking trips to, different countries, working for Canva and
Yes.
ClickUp. And I'm like, man, what did I miss? So
I'm right there with you.
it's important not for us to not look at their success like that, but it just shows me what I want the people to get from this is that it's possible for all of us. Our journey is it's just going to look a little bit different, right? It's going to take us a little bit
Mhm.
longer, but when we get there, no stopping us, right? So
At all, because at that point we did all the work. We've done all of the adjustments.
okay, at that point we just chilling, okay,
Yes.
living our best life and going about it, and yeah, and hopefully encouraging some other people to continue to work and build along their journey as well. So do you have anything else that you want to share with the people before we wrap up? Anything you have written down that you wanted to just share with the audience?
Um, Nothing specific. Just come and follow the money train. No, I'm playing. Come and follow the money train. No, it is such a pleasure to be able to have this conversation with you, Shamika. It was very insightful, very fun, and I appreciate you for sharing your platform for us to come on and really be able to connect and collaborate in ways such as this. I would love for y'all to come and join me on the socials. I'm at Jaleesa, the team coach, on all the things, darling. And then you can just put a .com on the end, and that will be the website. And I have plenty of things that you can use as free resources right now. And I have a podcast named The Organically Growing, where I share more tips and insights such as this. And I would love for you, Shamika, to join me if you're ever open to it.
Yes.
Love for you to come on. Yes. Awesome.
I'd be happy to.
Yay. Well,
So,
that's it on my end, girl. I'm doing well. I'm pushing through.
okay. Well, thank you so much again, Jaleesa, for having you here. It was an absolute pleasure speaking with you. And I didn't know anyone was really out here offering up these HR services in this entrepreneur space. So I'm glad that I now have a reference with some of the people that I work with. I would definitely be hitting you up. And for all you people out here watching, if you're interested in doing what Jaleesa's doing or what I'm doing, just know that it's possible. I'm just a small town girl from New York, country girl, and I'm out here chasing my dreams, and you can do it too. So until next time, guys, talk to you later.
Peace out.